Hey, what's going on, guys? Luke here from Nerdy Geek Talk, the source of all your nerdy geeky needs. And today I'm here with Eric, known as Aramis Prime. How are you today, Eric?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. In the past 2 days, I've learned that there was spider monkey things on an ice planet. Jar Jar literally causes the death of people in every episode he's in, and
Yes,
that Skeletor is a crazy scientist in Star Wars.
this is true. Also, this is episode 24. I don't think you said that.
Ah, I thought about it right before I said it. Oh, okay. Episode 24.
But yeah, we are
That's
missing John, but he should be back soon. Hopefully, but it's just the two of us. But we have some fun. We have 3 episodes to break down this week, so we'll get straight into it. Now, not these are this isn't a 3-part arc. This is episode 15 of season 1, which is Trespass, and then a 2-episode arc, which is episodes 17 and 18, Blue Shadow Virus and Mystery of a Thousand Moons, respectively. Um, Episode 16, if you're curious, was one of the first episodes we covered because
I was curious.
it is earlier in the because we're going in chronological order. That was, I think, possibly the first episode. I think that's the one before the Battle of Christophsis. Could be wrong,
First off, sis,
but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
that's the one planet I will never forget in Star Wars.
Really?
Just because I couldn't remember it for a while, and I just think of the narrator because he's just like Christophsis.
He does say it like that. But as mentioned, Trespass is a separate one. Now, we've been doing mostly 2 episodes, but the next, the next episode arc will be a 3-episode arc. It'll be the Ryloth one, which will have implications to Rebels, unlike these ones. But let's get into it. So, first episode, which is a standalone episode. I'd say that's pretty rare for the Clone Wars. I kind of want to go and count. I'm not right now, but sometime I'm gonna look and see how many standalone episodes there are because I feel like you could probably count them on one hand. Could be wrong on that, but there's very few that don't relate to each other. So yeah, this one is a rare occasion. But episode 15, Trespass. The quote at the beginning is "Arrogance diminishes wisdom." It's pretty darn good and relatable. It's a very relevant quote. I don't think there's much more to say than that, is there? It's pretty clear.
I thought this one was pretty spot on.
That's about Cho. That's his name, Cho. The guy who sucks. Just absolutely sucks. He has no redeeming qualities. Yeah.
I hope he dies.
Oh, wow. I wonder if he will. But anyways. So first off, my first note is why are there regular clones inside of the base, but they're sending snowtroopers? There's no snowtroopers there, but there's regular clone troopers all inside of that base. Were they just never planning on going outside, or what?
Can we just acknowledge how cool the armor is, though?
Oh, the snowtroopers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next. Is the snowtroopers are awesome, but I'm just questioning why were the clones that were there regular clones if they're the ones who are going to be in the snow most of the time? I don't know. I just thought that was odd. But the snowtroopers are pretty darn cool. And so technically, it's a little weird because of how the eras work, where prequels came after the original trilogy in the real world, but in canon, obviously, in the storyline, they happen first. So really, the snowtroopers that we see in Empire Strikes Back are updated or modern versions of these clone snowtroopers. But what we really know is that these clone snowtroopers are basically homages to the snowtroopers in Empire Strikes Back. So I think it's just funny how the real world and the Star Wars world are mirrored. They're reversed.
That was so ridiculously confusing. The way you just described it.
Say in real world, the one that comes after is the one that comes before. Exactly. Now I'm just trying to be confusing, but yeah. So
the child is the father of man.
But yeah, so the I love the snowtrooper design. They look super cool, and I think Rex rocks it the best. I just gotta say.
Does he get shot every episode he's in?
I think so, but he's also the coolest in every episode he's in, so there's that.
He just tanks everything.
He's literally the greatest. I have that in my notes later. I put Rex rocks. Almost every episode that Rex is in,
All
I
right.
put Rex rocks at some point.
Are
But
you cool if I overview the episode real quick?
oh yeah. Give a quick
Oh,
rundown.
okay. So they're going to investigate this. Is it the? It's the planet, not the moon, right?
I believe so. Either way, it's not super important. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay. They're going to distress the ice planet of Ortoplatonia to investigate how all their troopers are dead or not responding, and they take the leaders of the nearby moon in the system, the Pantorans. There is Senator Rio Chuchi and Chairman Chicho, which I guess the chairman's the head of the planet. Apparently, I didn't understand it until halfway through the episode.
Wait,
And
you didn't understand what? Sorry, I blanked out for a second.
that the chairman chose the head of the planet.
Oh yeah. They made that clear later that he certainly outranks everyone.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid, but they take them there because technically they own it, quote unquote, and they go and find just helmets hung up on spears. No bodies or anything, no information stolen, so it clearly wasn't separatist. Then they find a separatist base, and all the droids are just wrecked.
I mean, there were clone bodies upstairs.
Oh yeah, there was.
I did find it odd that none of them were like impaled or anything, and also they mentioned how there's no blaster marks later, but like, why didn't the clones shoot anyone?
Yeah, I thought
putting that out there.
as soon as they said that, like, oh, I guess they didn't fight back.
I mean, I guess maybe they were stealthily invading the base or something. I don't know, but it was a bit odd.
And then they see how the droids got wrecked the same way, and they play video, seeing of them get destroyed by these crazy monkey dudes. And they find these crazy monkey dudes, Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they somehow communicate with them perfectly with pictures.
Oh my gosh! And then one of them gives Obi-Wan a hug, and then they go
Yeah,
off. They're like, "Okay, we're gonna have peace. We're gonna have peace. Yay!" And then the chairman guy, he sucks.
Chairman, there's some words I want to use for him, but Eric doesn't let me do that. So
I'm with you on that, but we're not. But if you couldn't guess, we are not a fan of the chairman.
It's just like, bruh, no, this is our planet, and we're going to kill them because we can, because we are square versions of the Chiss.
No. Do not even compare them to the Chiss. They are not worthy of being compared to the Chiss. Although, in case you're curious, there is a specific reference to the Pantorans whenever Grand Admiral Thrawn was meeting Governor Price in the Thrawn novel. He specifically hides his eyes so that people would think he was Pantoran and not Chiss, so he wouldn't stick out. Because Chiss are a lot more rare, and that's the main difference, because they both have blue skin. The main difference is one has red eyes, one doesn't. And red eyes certainly stick out. But anyways, just a small little side note.
So they're supposed to go meet with the Thai? Is that how you say it? The Tau. The Tau, that's how it is. They're going to meet with the Tau for peace. And of course the chairman's just like, no, screw you guys. We're going to war. Everyone peacefully leaves for some reason right after they say that, and then they start killing each other. I don't know how these locations were predetermined, but they were.
Mm-hmm.
And the highly trained clone troopers were getting killed by monkeys throwing spears while riding ice walruses.
They're not walruses. They're more like wolf dragon things.
They had walrus tails and tusks.
They had, like, legs.
Okay, they had fish bears. They were riding fish bears, these spider monkeys. Oh, they're spider monkeys. I get it now.
Yeah, I would have to say that these aliens are definitely spider monkeys. But anyways.
Yeah, and the chairman gets speared in the back, which is hilarious.
Thank God. That really needed to happen. I'm so glad that happened.
And then there's the senator of the Pantorans is really chill. She's awesome. #1 girl, best girl. That's an anime reference, Eric. That's also part of my resume. And she gets permission to be cool with the Tau. And they just make peace again by they actually talk this time thanks to 3PO.
Yeah.
And boom, peace.
Well, 3PO also helped them whenever they declared war on each other.
Yeah. They just should have not done it.
But yeah, I totally agree. But anyways, so breaking it down, So we already got the snowtroopers, all that. We get introduced to Cho and Chuchi, as you mentioned. Next thing I have is, oh my goodness. So we talked about how, like, really there's no gore or anything with the troopers and how there's no blaster marks, which is weird. But if you think about it, the fact that the helmets are just hanging there on spears is a pretty brutal sign. Like, just walking in, that's kind of a horror movie type thing.
They
Like,
got
if
eaten
you,
by Ewoks kind of thing.
I mean, the bodies are still upstairs, so they didn't eat them, but, like,
Yeah.
I feel like if this wasn't like a kids show, which, you know, they go pretty dark sometimes, like, I feel like there wouldn't be a stretch to say that maybe the heads would still be on those spears with the helmets on still, but heads instead of just helmets. But, you know, who knows? I could be overestimating the violence of the species, although they are clearly just spearing everyone later, so they're not afraid to kill people.
Okay.
But I
One
don't
of my
know.
first notes I have after seeing like them kill everyone.
Mhm.
Why didn't we clone these guys?
Well, because apparently no one knew they existed.
Yeah, they just the snow Wookiees just wreck everyone.
This
They
is very true.
they use wooden stone spears and it goes right through the clone armor. One shot, one kill.
It's pretty crazy, yeah. Um,
Where were they getting wood from to make fires? That's what I was concerned about.
that's a good question. I mean, there are there are trees that can live in the snow.
Yeah,
But
but like I was just thinking like, well,
I don't
I'm
know.
like, okay, they probably took stuff from the clone troopers, but they've obviously had a fire before.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
guessing just types of plants that can grow in the snow is what they've been using. But I don't know. The next thing I have is oh, the droids are just standing there holding their guns headless. Because then we get to see the base, like, because they like go into the base and it looks like, oh my goodness, there's battle droids holding their blasters at them, but they're just standing there headless. Like, the battle droids don't like fall over after their heads are removed. Just odd. I think it was mainly just to create the tense moment of like, they're walking in and droids are pointing their guns at them. Oh wait, they're not. They're not a threat. But it's just odd to see that the droids are just standing there. Although, I mean, maybe they're frozen no, they're not. Yeah, I don't know. Is there a reason you could
Roger,
think that they're there?
Roger.
It's just weird. But yeah,
Now, you know what pissed me off
what?
was the last literally the last episode we watched was about finding like being cool with these lemur dudes,
Uh
but they
huh.
didn't know these guys existed.
I mean, they didn't know that the lemurs existed.
But like the lemurs, like, oh yeah, like we were at war, but like we know what your war is. We're just not being involved.
Uh huh. I mean, this was almost a repeat of that.
Yeah, which kind of did annoy me.
I like it still,
It's just
but I thought this was better done. This shows like greed on the side of what's supposed to be the good guys. Or I
yeah,
mean, like the bad guy is supposed to be a good guy.
he was a terrible guy. Terrible guy.
He was
Worst
just awful.
worst guy. Senator, best girl.
Yes, I would have to agree. But my next note is that the Dragon Riders are awesome. Dragon Wolf Walrus things are awesome. I don't know what they are, but they're pretty awesome. I'm just gonna say they're cool.
Yeah,
Um,
if they didn't know the guys existed there, how did 3PO communicate to them?
3PO came from like literally the unknown regions or something. Like he speaks more languages than anyone knows, so it's not a stretch to think that he could figure out a form
What?
of basic communication. Yeah, 3PO's like, no, did you not know that? I don't know if it's specifically the unknown regions, but he's like from an entirely an entire other galaxy or something.
I know he speaks like a billion
No, but
languages.
he is also from like his origins are extremely weird. It's odd. But anyways, did you notice that whenever Anakin and Obi-Wan go to the village, what their reactions were, specifically Anakin, whenever they first see the people?
What?
Obi-Wan's like, okay, let's make peace. Anakin went for his lightsaber the second he saw people. I'm just like, okay, bud, calm down, which is basically what Obi-Wan did. And then my next note is that Obi-Wan gets a hug and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
My,
I just like that they draw pictures for each other.
yeah, like draw pictures. Oh, we want to shake hands. Let's shake hands. Spider
Let's
Monkey
hug.
gives a hug, which is awesome. I love that the chief gave him a hug.
Th-
Uh, I like the chief.
yeah. I'm really confused what the message here was with the chairman, because you can say he's pretty evil, but he was just showing nationalism. So I'm really confused on that one.
Uh, I feel like it's considering. I think the basic. Well, we'll get to it. What the message is. But I have next thing is Chairman sucks, Rex rocks. So Chairman sucks and he's getting them all killed, and then Rex is awesome because he goes so hard in that battle.
He
Oh my
kills
gosh,
a lot of them.
I know, which I feel bad like that they're dying, but like, oh my god, Rex goes hard in that battle. That's a really good fight scene for him in particular. Like he rocked that, and then he saved the chairman too for like 5 minutes, but he still saved the chairman for 5 minutes after getting speared. It was impressive. But the quote, which is essentially the lesson of this, is to die for your people is a great sacrifice, but to live for your people is a greater one. So basically, it's like to die for your essentially it says your people, but like your country, that type of thing. So nationalism, that's a great sacrifice. But to spend your entire life living and serving it, without wanting war, like preventing war your entire life is a greater sacrifice. Is essentially I think what the message was trying to say, uh, which I think is an interesting route to go. I mean, in this scenario, clearly it's right because the chairman sucks. I don't think he's sympathetic at all. I mean, they do show like they're trying to show it like that. It's patriotism, that type of thing, where like he's just really invested in protecting his world and stuff, but like he doesn't care about life, which is the main thing. It's like, how do you care about the life of your people if you don't care
Yeah.
about life at all, period? It's a little odd. So that's why it's like a little bit weird, but I really liked that line. It's just overall, I do
Yeah.
think that they made him a little too. I think if they would have made him a bit more like grayish of a, like a bad guy and not just
Yeah.
completely utter trash, then it would have been a bit more like convincing, or like, it would have been like, you think about it a bit more, but like overall it's like, yeah, there's not really a debate. It's like he just sucks. Like no one's gonna decide. Like you don't have to really think about it that much. I do like that line though, but
Yeah. It just made me feel kind of bad. Like when he's dying, he's like I did this all for my people.
yeah, that's the only real sympathetic moment he has. And then he dies like finding out that like he's
Yeah.
saying like
Screw you.
avenge me, and then he dies finding out. Which part of me it's like he kind of deserves it, but at the same time it's like he does wanna. I don't know. Like that's really his only somewhat redeemable moment though. If they would have played they would have still had him have the ideas he had, just not be such a jerk like from the very second you
Yeah.
meet him, then maybe it'd be a bit better, but I don't know. But yeah, overall I gotta say I actually like that episode. And spider monkeys are cool.
I like how after killing a bunch of each other, they just solve that in like 2 seconds. Like boom, spear in the ground, peace.
Yeah, and I like how she specifically takes the chairman's helmet and puts it there, which I thought
Yeah,
was
that
a
was
little...
really messed up.
Yeah, I was like, that's actually kind of messed up, but whatever. Like, you took it off of him as he was dying or just died. You took his personal hat and then gave it to the people who killed him. Which, again, it was his fault, and, they shouldn't have been awarded stuff, but, like, still, that is kind of messed up. But yeah, I gotta say, I did like the episode. But we still have some good stuff to get to, even though Jar Jar is in these next two episodes. But
He
yes,
kills a lot of people.
he really does. Like, I think that that's something that the Clone Wars does. It might sound weird to say does right, but at least like in the Clone Wars, they show that there's repercussions to his actions, as in people are dying. It's still messed up. But like in the movies, it's just like he's dumb and like nothing happens, stuff like that. But like in this, it's like, man, he sucks, and like people actually. But anyways, so Blue Shadow Virus quote for this one is: "Fear is a disease, hope is its only cure." This one makes sense. This is also a pretty good quote, I gotta say. Like just in general, I think I like that one. But yeah, so this one is the first of two parts. There's battle droids in Naboo. They find the battle droids, find out that oh
Uh-huh.
my goodness,
Uh-huh.
there's
Uh-huh.
a plague or something. Like they're gonna do something. So they go and look for it, and that's when you see a bunch of the weird space cows dying from drinking bad water. And so they find the dead space cows and find Jar Jar Binks' girlfriend. I'm kidding, kind of. Well, actually, no, I'm kidding. I think he actually does. Does he get a girlfriend later? I want to say that Jar Jar Binks kind of has a girlfriend at some point. I thought there was an episode where he had a girlfriend. Maybe I was thinking of this episode. But anyways, there's a girl, Gungan, and she's the one like, hey, what are you doing? All that. Then they, Padme and Jar Jar Binks, they go, they find the mad scientist, they get captured by the mad scientist, and then basically Anakin and Obi-Wan finally show up. They go rescue them, which Ahsoka distracts everyone while Anakin and Obi-Wan get in there. Anakin goes and has a struggle with whether to save Padme or stop the scientist. He does both, but he saves Padme. Then they all have to, disable the bombs and everything and stop the scientist, both of which happen after a long fight. And yeah, that's about it for this episode. We'll get into the next episode after we break this down a bit. But anyways, first note I have is, how and why are there battle droids on Naboo? Why would they decide this is the ideal place to test a secret weapon when this is the place where the war started and you were first defeated? I feel like you'd want to avoid it, and also the Republic would make better sure to prevent it from ever being, invaded again. But apparently they have an entire base in the swamp. I feel like it would have been better if they played it off as in that base had already been there and that they were maybe some faction that went and took it over secretly, or they've been waiting there or something. I don't know. But either way, a bit odd. How did you feel about C-3PO and the droids exchange?
I thought that was pretty funny.
I thought that was pretty smooth for C-3PO.
Yeah. That's pretty creative.
I was gonna say, he just did that right on the spot, like no one told him to, too. And I was like, yeah, C-3PO, good job. I felt like that's kind of unusual for him, but I liked it. I was like, yeah, look at you go. I mean, he caught on eventually, but that wasn't until Jar Jar literally ruined it. So basically, the entire thing possibly could have been avoided if it had not been for Jar Jar. Although he also was starting to lose it because he was like, secret base? What secret base? And then that's when he started to catch on, like, this isn't, you're not separatist. Like, separatists would be like, what secret base? If it was their secret base. So, C-3PO did, ruin it eventually, but he was doing pretty good. But then Jar Jar, oh my gosh. Gosh. And then the worst part is they take him destroying that droid and, causing making this a lot worse than it had to be, and turn it into a good thing because, he was actually chasing the bug that tells him exactly where the base is.
Yeah,
it's like, good job, Jar Jar.
If it was any other bug, he would have doomed the whole planet, if not the galaxy.
Yes, but it's Jar Jar. My next thing is actually a question: who outranks who, Queen or Senator? Because there's several points where the Queen is kind of talking to Padme like she's in charge, and then there's several points where Padme is talking to the Queen like she's in charge, and I'm kind of confused who's in charge. I think they both respect each other, especially since Padme was already Queen and stuff, so she knows what it's like. Also, the Queen knows that she was already Queen, so it's just I think they have mutual respect. I'm just curious, who do you think outranks the other?
I was kind of wondering that with the last episode because there's the chairman and the senator. But it's clear that the chairman outranked the senator.
So I'm guessing the Queen would outrank her, technically?
I'm gonna say if it's something domestic, the Queen would outrank, but if it was between planets, I would say the senator would probably outrank.
Which, in all fairness, this has to do with the war, so I think that the senator would probably be mostly in charge. Although, I don't know, because at the same time, she is queen, but she's not queen to the entire people of the planet. Whereas if you're senator of Naboo, you're senator for the entire planet. So she represents everyone. Half the population is Gungans, though. So, Binks is representative, but she is the,
Nobody likes them.
She is the representative of Naboo as a whole. She is the senator. So I feel like she would maybe outrank the queen, since the queen isn't queen of the entire planet, even though her title is Queen of Naboo. She's really only queen of her people, whereas the Gungans are half the planet, I think. I mean, technically we don't know the exact proportion, but I'm pretty sure that they're pretty close. So I don't. That's why I'm like debating. It's like, because it's not. That's what makes it complicated. Is there isn't just one like civilization on Naboo. There's multiple. So she's only queen of one. So does that mean that Padme outranks her on the planet, but not necessarily her land? I don't know. Either way, just interesting to notice. Also, next thing is Peppy Bo, the pink female Gungan. She's a fighter, apparently. I mean, not that it's too. I mean, she got Padme by. I was gonna say Padme is certainly the harder one to take down, but which she took Padme by surprise, and then she's just beating the crap out of Jar Jar, which was kind of good to see. It made me feel good to see her bashing his head like against a wall or something. He didn't die, but you know, she tried, which I thought was funny. I did like seeing her beat up Jar Jar Binks. I thought that was great. Next thing is that. How is the base that easy to find? How did they not know there was a giant base in the swamp?
They got those geoscans.
I was going to say, the camera popping up from the ground was so cheesy. But then there was also Jar Jar Binks literally slipping and falling on mud. And guess what? There's only that much of a layer showing where the base is. Like, it's just a couple inches of mud on top. That's all they put. They were like, yeah, that'll be good enough, you know, whatever. So, yeah. The mad scientist is, holy crap, he's an extra crazy mad scientist.
Yeah.
And yes, he kind of sounds like Skeletor, but oh my goodness,
whipping around the virus.
I know, he's crazy, and I thought it was very interesting his point about well, actually, first before he says that, I thought it was interesting that the only thing it takes to make a liquid virus airborne is just electrocute it mad scientist style. Literally, just electrocute it. And that's all that thing does, because he electrocutes plenty of people. As I say, he electrocutes people later, so it's just electricity, but all you need to do, if you're curious, to make a virus airborne that's in liquid form, is just electrocute it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I mean, if you have a virus, why do you have a virus, period? But anyways.
But if you want to do it right.
But yeah, then the next thing I have was actually a somewhat interesting point. Now, the way he was phrasing it was weird, because, you know, he kept saying that the virus was life and everything, which is just, you know, nonsense. But it was interesting how he was saying, like, you know, are the people of this, are people the virus? Like, you know, this war is tearing everything apart. Thought that was an interesting question that gets overshadowed by his craziness and, like, him just thinking that the virus is beautiful. Like, that's where it's just, you know, that's just craziness. But thinking about, like, now, obviously it's more than just humanity in Star Wars, but in general, like, is humanity a disease? Like, does humanity do more harm than good? I know that in all of, you know, fiction, we ask this question constantly, and the answer is always that no, humanity is ultimately, like, good, but that's because we're humans and we want to think that. I'm kind of curious, like, is that answer true? I don't know.
You know what? You know what annoyed me? The fact that he called people a disease and the virus a virus. Those are two different things.
Oh, how you use disease and virus, yeah.
Like you're not a real doctor. You're just electrocuting random liquids.
This is true. But yeah.
I want to know how he remade the virus.
Me too. We'll never find out, but I am kind of curious.
It's just like, oh yeah, deadliest virus in the galaxy, he made that.
I'm guessing he found trace amounts of it, like in, you know, a dead body somewhere, and then was able to, like, you know, replicate it, is my guess? Or I don't know. Like, that's how I would think of it, is in almost like how you know, like, thinking about cloning dinosaurs, where it's like, you know, you find ancient, you know, DNA, or not necessarily DNA, but, like, you know, strands of it, and then you're able to somehow, you know, copy those or replicate those, and then it's like, oh yeah, I can kind of bring this thing back, you know, a la Jurassic Park, just with, you know, viruses. That's just a guess, though. I have no idea.
Oh, and the deadliest thing in this entire episode was that little droid carrying around the bomb.
Oh my god, which was so adorable. But we don't really get to him that much till the next episode. But well, that's where he's more important, is what I should say. He's still in this episode plenty. He's very funny. Then the next thing I have is, did you notice whenever they got data from the battle droid and were telling, like, Kenobi and Anakin, like, what's going on back at, base and stuff, that, like, they called it a robo-lobotomy?
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I just thought that term was a little bit odd. Also, my next note is, why did the Separatists support this? I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because, like, their main forces are droids, so, it's mostly droids that would be unaffected by a virus, and, this would kill organics. But at the same time, it's like, if you use this on the entire galaxy, you're gonna die. And he specifically said he didn't make an antidote. So, like,
I made a virus, not a cure. Yeah.
this is why I feel like it would have been even more beneficial. It would have made more sense if this was like a rogue, like,
Yeah.
splinter cell of the Separatists that was just led by this mad scientist or something, where
I
who
thought
had
it.
found this abandoned base. Like, I feel like it would make a lot more sense. But
I love that he was caught just because he laughed 2 seconds too long.
wait, what?
Like he could have easily like smashed the virus or like shot Anakin, but no, he chose to like laugh for an extra few seconds, and that's when the Gungan lady beat the crap out of him.
Yup, that's just how he is.
Otherwise, he would have been good.
Oh, but right before that, I have to say, Ahsoka is basically leading her own mission, and she's awesome. Like, this is the first moment where I'm just like, yeah, Ahsoka Solo is totally great in canon, if you know what I mean.
Solo?
Shut up. Not that Solo. But no,
If you want to learn more about the Solo movie, go check out our sister podcast, Mandalorian Mandate.
Mandalorian Mandate. Plenty of Solo stuff. But yeah, I really liked her. I thought she did great in this episode, and she does even better in the next episode. But I thought that, like, her leading the attack and stuff, it went really well. And, like, I thought, like, man, she's really good. Like, this is definitely some good character progression. She's awesome. So, yeah. Next thing I have is, why wouldn't you, every time the mad scientist threw the frickin', the vials, why didn't you catch them with the Force?
Thank you!
They always jumped back and caught them. I'm like, just catch them with the Force. I don't know how that was ever like a debate, but apparently it was. That was funny. I just saw someone. Anyways.
I don't get why he didn't just smash one in front of him.
Yeah, like, why didn't he just, like, smash it with his hand? Like, literally just take it and, like...
Then they would have used the Force.
I mean, I don't know. It was weird, but... Yeah, my main question is, why didn't they use the Force? Then the next thing I have is, Anakin specifically mentions earlier how he's like, I'm gonna kill you to the mad scientist. Then later he's like, you're under arrest. And that's before Obi-Wan shows up or anything. Why didn't he just kill him? I mean, I guess it's not the Jedi way, but, like, he should have just killed the guy. I'm just pointing that out. Oh, and then I love Ahsoka's line at the end where Anakin's like, where's Padme? Is she okay? She's like, she's right next to me. She's fine. Oh, and by the way, I'm okay, too. Thanks for asking. I just like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, old married couple.
But yeah, so is there anything else you have for that episode, or no?
No, I thought this was a good episode, but it's kind of generic.
Yeah, it was good, but not. It was definitely wasn't anything like super special.
Yeah,
there's
stuff they could have changed to make it better, but it was good. It was a good setup.
Now the next episode, Mystery of 1,000 Moons, I think is the better of the two. And so, brief overview of this one. Turns out that cute little droid that had the singular bomb actually took the vial out and basically undid the ending of the last episode, and the bomb goes off, and everyone gets affected, and so the droids
did what the mad scientist couldn't.
Yes, which I thought was hilarious. But the droids are trying to escape to, because they want to escape mostly, but also to let the virus out. So everyone inside is infected, which includes Ahsoka and the clones, and as of right now, Padme has a suit on, and so does Jar Jar. But I know, right?
That pissed me off so much.
They could have could have just killed Jar Jar. But anyway, I mean, not because sadly not because he's in Revenge of the Sith. But so Anakin and Obi-Wan, they have to go venture to another planet to find the antidote. Ahsoka and Padme are busy, dealing with droids trying to escape. They kill all of them.
Dying.
Yeah, while dying. So they kill all of them while Anakin and Obi-Wan are getting the antidote on this planet that they found. And then they're trying to escape, even though that seems like they meet a boy who has a billion droids too, who's kind of just a young Anakin. But anyway, they are trying to escape the planet, which supposedly has a ghost/spirit thing that kills anyone that tries to leave.
That's so stupid.
And then, Anakin gets a message from Padme and Ahsoka, who are now dying because Padme's suit gets broken during part of the fight, so she's infected too. And they're basically saying like, "Hey, we stopped all the I know, Jar Jar again, but they stopped all the droids, and they're like, yeah, we stopped all the droids, just like we saved the planet, sorry, we're gonna die now." And so Anakin like starts freaking out, like, "We need to go," and Obi-Wan's like, calm down. And Anakin's like, "No, we need to go." And then they go. They figure out that the ghost isn't a ghost; it's a separatist defense mechanism, which doesn't make sense because why do they even care if the people stay there or not? It's a junk planet. But anyways, they destroy the thing, and they get out of there, and they have the antidote. They save the day. Yay! So, yeah. Breaking this. Okay, quote. It says, "A single chance is a galaxy of hope."
I just like that. That's just a cool quote.
I think it is. I would say that it's probably the least relevant out of the three that we've done so far, but it's not. It's not that it's irrelevant. I think that it's a somewhat generic one, if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't apply to this episode specifically as much as the other two applied to their episode specifically. I still think it's a good quote. It's just not super dedicated, if you know what I mean. Like, you could apply this probably a couple episodes, if you know what I mean. But still a good quote nonetheless, just in general. So starting off, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's sarcasm is great. I forget what he said. He said, like, literally just opening up, and one of the first things he says is pretty sarcastic. Oh, I think he's like, saving the world is so boring. Like, stuff like that. Like, just another day saving the world, so boring. So I'm just like, I love sassy Obi-Wan. Next thing I have is... Oh, I love what he says. This is a quote from Obi-Wan. "There's more than one way to skin a womp rat." Whenever Anakin's... like, interrogating the mad scientist by force, like, basically.
And he threatens to kill the dude again. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. That's not unusual. Although, this kind of the Ahsoka style thing in a couple episodes ago, which actually, you weren't on that. That was the episode with Captain Argus, who, betrays them and dies. But whenever Ahsoka's with Luminari on Duli, on a ship transporting Newt Gunray, Ahsoka uses that tactic. So I thought that's a neat little tie-in because Ahsoka literally does the same exact thing with Newt Gunray, and Luminara, like, literally pulls her aside and is like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't do that." And she's like, I wasn't gonna kill him. I'm doing that to, like, get him to admit stuff." And then immediately afterward, Newt Gunray's like, okay, let's talk a deal. So, like, it worked. So that's why I think it's funny that they show that, yes, she really did learn it from Anakin. Now, sadly, it doesn't work in this situation because the mad scientists are like, "I didn't make a cure. I didn't want to cure this. I wanted you all to die. I wanted everyone to die. I didn't make a cure." Which is just weird because, again, if the Separatists were funding this, they would want a cure for themselves. So, just putting that out there, again, that's why it doesn't make sense that he's really with the Separatists. If he was a rogue squadron of, like, droids than him, it would make more sense, but alas, it's okay.
I found it weird that he was, like, scared of dying from it.
Him? He didn't seem that scared, but he was saying that it would be less painful if Anakin just killed him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't seem, like, scared, but he was just like, yeah, you know what? If you kill me now, that'll save me the, like, long misery of dying from the plague. But, yeah, it is a bit odd. Next thing I have... Oh, so they do get, as I mentioned in the overview, they do get infected, but they don't die right away. Whereas, like, the giant space cows died immediately after drinking it. So I guess it's reasonable to say that it could make sense that the airborne, since he just developed it, isn't as, like effective. Like it takes longer to kill someone than the, ingesting it. But I don't know. I did think that was interesting that we saw it killed instantly those space cows. But with them,
Space cows.
they poor dead space cows. But they survive a while, you know. But again, this is a different form of the disease. It might not carry as well in the air. It takes longer to kill. Like, I mean, obviously they're still going to die, but it's just, it takes longer for them to die. I don't know. It's just interesting that they're very different.
Maybe let's see. So the space cows looked like ticks. Maybe they got a different like body. So boom, they died faster.
I don't know, maybe. Next thing is I thought it was very interesting that Anakin's like, we are going to like save their lives, and the Naboo people are like, I admire your courage, but like that's probably not going to work. Like we should probably just focus on like recovering the situation as best as we can. And Anakin's like, no, we're going to go save them. And Obi-Wan, for once, whenever Anakin's like being all bold and like, no, we're doing this, is like, I concur. Like, yeah.
No.
So I thought that was interesting.
I like that they're just like, oh, by the way, like that thing that killed a bunch of people in the past, like that virus that we didn't know what to do about. Boom, we found a cure.
Yeah, I didn't think it was interesting that they found the cure later, but whatever. It's convenience for the episode. Next thing is oh, did you notice that whenever they pulled up to the planet, like whenever they got like the planet of 1,000 moons or whatever, because of all the wreckage, did you notice that there was a floating body in space?
I can't say that I really even paid attention to the wreckage.
I wasn't like paying really close attention to the wreckage. I just happened to catch it on a glance. There was a dead body floating in space, which I was just like, okay, wow. Yeah, I totally saw one.
How stupid are these people on this planet, by the way?
Some of them vary. I mean, I don't think everyone bought it, but it was weird. But next thing we have is, I like how Anakin killed 18 battle droids before he realized that they were, 17. It was like 17. Nope. 18.
I just like that they all just kept saying the same stuff.
I thought that was pretty funny. And then we basically meet the Child King, which is basically just Anakin from the Phantom Menace, if he wasn't a Jedi or slave. That's basically what I think of Jabo. That's his name, but I think it's basically just Annie. Jabo is Annie, alternate dimension Annie.
And they never visit that guy again, by the way.
No, but I mean they did like free his world, so he could presumably. I mean he's already hotwired a bunch of droids. It's reasonable to assume that he might have a couple more droids, like vulture droids or something he could use to get out. But I don't know. Then I thought it was funny. Obi-Wan gave the line. I have a bad feeling about this, which is the line. The lines in every single Star Wars movie. Do you know who says it in The Last Jedi? I can't remember if we talked about this before.
Probably Luke.
No, it's BB-8. Because everyone was like, no one said it. And then Rian Johnson's like, no, someone said it. Just gotta pay attention. It's BB-8 in the beginning. Whenever Leia says, I agree, I'm with the droid on this one. In the very beginning, whenever Poe's going out by himself. Yeah, it's BB-8. But anyways, so just a funny thing. Anyways, yeah, he's young Annie, as I said. I like how, so there's a crazy homeless guy who's talking about the giant demon in the sky that prevents everyone from leaving, which he's a crazy homeless guy. It makes sense that he's talking about end of the world type stuff. But I like how Obi-Wan calls him Jabo's twitchy friend. Oh, sorry, I'm tired, but yeah.
Yeah, I like how they even knew who he was. This is the specific homeless dude on my planet.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, that's your twitchy friend. Like this is what Obi-Wan called him. I was like, that's kind of insensitive for like a poor crazy homeless guy, but that was funny. Just like you'd think that Obi-Wan would feel a little bit more bad for the crazy homeless, but whatever. Although apparently he's not homeless because he's part of some council meeting they have later.
Yeah, that was hilarious, and he's like the most prominent person there.
Yeah, which is, I think, just mainly because he's an outspoken, crazy person. But I thought it was great how on the way out, like, Anakin's like, yeah, that's such a load of, and then everyone's like, superstition. And Anakin's like, I could think of a few other words. I'm like, was he about to curse? Anakin was about to just curse out the natives of the planet. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, maybe not, but I think that's the implied
No, he
joke.
was. He's gonna force choke and just like start
Oh
whipping
gosh.
people around. It's like, where's the root?
And then my next note is, it was actually like, I actually felt like I felt something watching like Ahsoka and Rex and Padme like dying and taking care of people as they were dying. Like, and I know they all live. And I it still was like I actually felt more emotional than I would have expected. That I was just like, oh man, like that's rough.
I
Like just the way they were acting, how they were taking care of literally the other people who were also dying. I'm just like, oh gosh.
I just thought it was really cool that like they're like, oh god, we're gonna die, and Ahsoka's just like, no, no, we're not. Like Anakin's gonna save us. Like not a like she never doubted it.
I think that is very telling of their relationship. But man, it was still just rough. Like watching them. Oh gosh, I was just like, man, I actually felt bad. Like that's hard to do whenever it's a scenario that you know everyone's gonna make it out, like totally fine, it's not gonna matter whatsoever, to still make you care. And I was like, I cared actually. Like they made it pretty sympathetic. But yeah, her dedication to Anakin is also pretty darn impressive. Uh, Next thing I have is the vulture droids that R2D2 used did nothing. He's like they mentioned like they're gonna use them as a distraction or whatsoever. They drove into lasers that didn't. It wasn't like the lasers appeared because the vulture droids went there. It was a giant like net, and the vulture droids just crashed. And none of them made it to the radar dish. They shot out the radar dish. They specifically said like aim them for the radar dish, but none of them made it there. So one, R2D2 isn't that great at piloting apparently, and two,
Aw.
they were totally useless. Like, they didn't need the vulture droids. None of them were even used to destroy the thing. They never fired on it, and none of them made it to it to crash into it. They just shot it down. So, just pointing that out there. And then the last note is, oh my goodness, they want to train Jar Jar to use a gun. They said
He
that.
kills so many. He almost killed Padme. What would have Anakin done?
I know. I was just gonna say, what if? I mean, I don't think no one would have lived to say that he did it. But
Just think of like him like choking Jar Jar, like I hate you.
but oh my goodness, yes.
Like and no one reprimands him for it.
I know.
That's the worst part. Is like with the bug thing. He destroyed like their only source of information at the time, and like, oh, we figured it out still. And then he almost gets her killed, and just like, no, it happens.
Yeah, I know how she literally like she's just like, oh, it's a war zone, it happens. But like, it was Jar Jar's fault. Oh my gosh, he's literally. I mean, at least he has some significance in the Clone Wars. Like he matters. He's not just annoying and there. He like at least causes events to happen. But why are they all so terrible? Like he's actually terrible in the Clone Wars. I feel like he could use his Clone Wars stuff to further feed the Sith Lord rumor, but
Maybe he is. Maybe he's like, I know exactly what this virus is they're making.
maybe he's the one who secretly ordered its construction. But yeah. Anyways, overall, I gotta say that I actually really like this episode mainly because of the. I mean, I like the Anakin and Obi-Wan dynamic. I also actually really liked how like emotional Anakin was throughout it. Like I thought that they did that well. Like he wasn't ever whiny, but he was very bold. He was like, because obviously it's Padme he cares about. He was just like, no, we're going, like we're saving them. But it wasn't ever like unnatural or whiny or stuff like that. But it was still emotional, if you know what I mean. So I thought that was well done. And also,
He just goes around wrecking droids that are peaceful.
Rex and Ahsoka and Padme all like dying but not caring and still just carrying on and stuff. I'm just like, wow, they really played that up.
They
did that well,
bond.
so yeah. I also love how Rex specifically says he will not be the one to train Jar Jar with a gun.
So he's the only smart guy.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I gotta say, I think that's my favorite out of the 3 episodes we watched. Would you say that's your favorite out of the 3? Or
Yeah, I would have to say so.
I think if I had to rank the 3 we watched, I'd rank this one as 1, the first one, so 15 as 2, and then going by the titles, Mystery of a Thousand Moons as number 1, Trespass is number 2, and Blue Shadow Virus is number 3. Not that Blue Shadow Virus was terrible, but it was probably the least good out of the 3. Would
I
you
just
agree,
want,
or would you put
yeah,
Trespass lower?
that's hard. I'd probably agree with you. I just want a ringtone of the scientist going like Blue Shadow Virus, because like he says it so many
He
times.
does. Although I would, it's tough though, because like I really, really love that action scene with Rex in Trespass. Like in the Snow Trooper stuff. That was actually a really awesome action sequence. So
Him just wrecking people.
like seriously though, like there were a couple troopers still alive with him at the end, but like oh my god, Rex
I
was
really, I really hope
destroying
the
them.
Spider Monkey Chief, he has a son that's a healer, and he just rubs snows on. He just rubs snow on stuff.
Heal him with the magic snow.
There's this ooze I got from my house/seed pod. It'll heal you up, no problem.
But yeah, so that's our episodes for this week. Next week we will be doing 3 episodes again, as I mentioned. We will be doing the Ryloth story arc, which should be interesting. Also, if you aren't aware, that is our first. Okay, so technically it's not our first time. It's our first time seeing Mace Windu in an entire episode.
Yeah.
As you say, so it's not because he's
First
been.
says,
See, he's been in a couple. He's not a couple. Jeez, he's been in a
Tupperware.
couple episodes. Actually, several episodes, but like hologram. He's never actually doing anything. We'll actually get to see him in action for the first time in the Clone Wars, which is cool, and also some big ramifications for Rebels. So it'll be very interesting to rewatch these episodes, knowing that it matters a lot more later for Rebels. Like, I mean, I remembered these episodes and they were important story arc, but like, there might be some Easter eggs that we, need to delve into, because if you weren't aware, the main resistance fighter on Ryloth, Sham Syndulla, is Hera Syndulla's father, who is one of the main characters of Rebels. So,
I'm a Gundai.
but no, yeah, I was gonna say this isn't the first time we've seen Cham, because we did see him with literally Master. I'm gonna die. But this is his main. This is the main story arc with him. So yeah, definitely tune in next week for that. And
John will probably be back. We don't know.
hopefully.
I lost track of him a week ago.
But the way you can, make sure you don't miss that is by subscribing to Nerdy Geek Talk on any of your favorite podcasting places: Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, all that good stuff. Also, YouTube, you can subscribe to Nerdy Geek Talk if that's your thing as well. And yeah, so you can also find our other podcast, Steel City Bots. Our new episode is up where we talk about lots of brand new toys we got. There's a little bit of news, possibly some Bumblebee voice stuff, and a couple other things, but mainly Studio Series is freaking awesome. After that, I'm trying to think. There is also a brand new episode of Mandalore Mandate, which we recorded right before this. Went up the day before this goes up. So we talk about Solo movie stuff, our favorite era of Star Wars. Is there anything else big we talked about? Some other comments that Mark Hamill made about The Last Jedi and that kind of stuff that have been floating around. There isn't a whole lot that we talked about other than that. I think those are the big things. Other things you can check out. There wasn't a new episode of Misaligned last week, but there will be this week. Not my fault, but they attempted to record, so it wasn't that you put it off, but it did not work out. So they're going to redo it, and it will be about which if you're unaware, Misaligned is our Transformers Aligned Continuity lore podcast. So if you're into lore stuff, check it out. They're only like this. I think there's their 5th or 6th episode they're on now, so you can catch up pretty easily. This will be about the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and Rise of the Dark Spark video games, which are some pretty awesome lore to Transformers. I gotta say, that's some of my favorite stories. So definitely go check that out when that goes up this week. We had a new episode of Awesome Asylum last week. There should be another one this week, but it had Aaron, Mike, and oh shoot, who else is on? Oh, and Zeus from the Misaligned podcast. They were all on that. They talked about the Teen Titans, outfits and stuff, the Incredibles trailer, and then I think some Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game images that were new. And then also the brand new first episode of our brand new podcast, anime podcast. If anime is your thing, definitely go check it out. Anime Overdrive episode 1, where Alyssa, who is a new host to Nerdy Geek Talk, so definitely go listen to that and welcome her to the Nerdy Geek Talk family. And also Aaron, Mariasha, and Christabella are on that, and they describe...
And me!
Yeah, you will be. Describe what the podcast is going to be, and yeah, and a little bit about themselves and such. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. And then also, like I said, subscribe so you can see what we have up. And also, another way to never miss out on stuff that we post up is by going on Twitter and following us at Nerdy Geek Talk. And if you can set notifications there, we don't tweet from there like crazy. It'll only be occasional funny things that have to do with usually their Steel City Bots tweets. That we will retweet, and then basically when podcasts go up, you'll get stuff like that. Other than that, you can find me personally at Eric Crowbar on Twitter or at Erimus Prime, ERIMUS Prime on Instagram. Those are the two places, whichever of those you prefer. Go check those out. And Luke, where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at Darth_Sand66, where I take pictures of comics and stuff.
So, yeah, that's about it for this episode. So, thanks for listening, and definitely tune in next week. Bye.
Goodbye.